shape of my life probably, and I'm ready to get in the cage. I've been like a caged animal, and I'm good to go now.
Yeah, you were lined up in January, weren't able to compete. A COVID test, right? Was it's just somebody on the team though, right? Did you suffer any consequences at all, or?
I was okay. One of the team had it, so obviously I couldn't come out and fight. It was a bit of it was a tough time because obviously we although I want to fight as much as I possibly can, it's also how we earn our living and how I support my family. So yeah, it was tough.
I was gonna say, what is that situation like, right? I mean, you're getting prepared. It's a big moment, like I said. It's the way you support yourself, and then it's all just goes away. I mean, is that tough to deal with for you?
It does, yeah. I mean, like I say, I got my results the night time the same day we got tested, and then I had a lot of missed calls in the morning to my coach and to the UFC and stuff, and I rung them back and they said the news, and I was distraught. I was in tears. I'll be honest, because a lot of prep time and preparation went in that over Christmas. Spent a lot of time training over Christmas Day and Boxing Day. A lot of the special times you would have with your family, and I was out training them days. I'm very dedicated to this sport, and I feel that it's gonna it happened for a reason. Look at me now. I'm on UFC 262 and I'm fighting Lando Vannata. It's another good name, so it's happened for a good reason as well. But I would still like that fight. Nick Lentz, he's obviously retired now, but it's still a fight I would like to have. But I'm happy. I'm happy now, and I'm good to go.
Was there hope that you'd get booked sooner, that you could turn things around faster?
Yeah, it would have been nice. I mean, soon as I got home, I carried on training again and stuff. So I was good to go like whenever really. But it's just kind of happened now.
Yeah, I do wonder if there's any benefits. I mean, I guess you got to travel, whether it's Abu Dhabi or here, you got to travel. But is it better here because the situation in Abu Dhabi is a little bit tougher, right? There's a lot of restrictions and that sort of thing. So is this like a better, or does it matter?
It doesn't really matter. I mean, I'm happy. I'm excited to make my USA debut. This is the first time I'm going to fight in America, in Texas, sellout crowd, and there's not been no crowds. I've not fought in front of a crowd for 2.5 years now. So yeah, it's nice to have that feeling as well.
Right. What do you make of Lando as an opponent? Right, he's got this weird career, just ups and downs. I guess you've had a weird career too, kind of some ups and downs. So what do you think about him as a fighter and what he brings to the table?
He thinks he brings a wild striking style. He's pretty tough. He's been in there against some decent fighters. Tony Ferguson's on the card on Saturday, and he's been against him. And, he had a great fight against him. I watched that fight. I was a fan of that fight. But, he's not fought anyone like me. I know they're great names, but I bring a different kind of pressure. And how's he going to deal with that? We'll see on Saturday night.
Yeah. And I guess I did want to ask you, like, how you feel about your career as a whole, right? Like, I feel like snake bitten a little bit or a little bit cursed, you know what I mean? Do you ever sit back and go like, what's the deal? Do I have bad luck or what's going on?
Yeah, I have done, but you know what, I'm that kind of person, and I think, like I said, everything happens for a reason. I mean, before I got into the UFC, I was fighting sometimes 4 to 5 times a year. So yeah, it's unusual for me that I've only had two fights. I'm on my third fight in 2 years in the UFC. So yeah, it's a bit of a bummer, but like I said, it happens for a reason. And Saturday night, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to make a statement. I'm going to make it all better.
Last thing for me, I was going to ask. I mean, it sounds like you're taking it on stride, but do you feel like you need to go out there and do something? I mean, I feel like you had this buzz around you when you came into the UFC, and just because of the delays, it's just kind of slowed down a little bit. So do you feel like you need to go out there and like remind people who you are, or make some kind of statement, like you said?
I mean, I won't put any extra pressure on me. I'll just let my body do the work, and I've practiced, I've trained hard, everything's already in place. So what'll happen will happen, and I'm pretty sure I'll make a statement on Saturday night.
Mike, Stetson,
okay?
Lando's obviously known for his spectacular knockouts, his flashy style of striking. You're, of course, known for your wrestling. Have you seen anything from him to that? Like, do you see any strengths in his grappling and wrestling game outside of his striking?
Looks like he's got okay wrestling and grappling, but he's not as good as mine. He's not on my level, so I'm confident that I win that area.
And then he's dropping to 145 for this fight after fighting most of his career at 155. Do you think his body is going to be able to handle that weight cut against a style like yours in there?
Exactly, like you said, the style like mine is what makes the difference. I mean, yeah, he might make with featherweight okay, because he didn't seem like a very big lightweight, but it's that mental stress that you've got to put under when you cut. You've got to be used to it. I'm used to it. I've done it all my career. I've done it all my wrestling career, so I'm definitely used to it. I've got the experience in that side of things, and the pressure that I'm going to put on him, the dominance, and I'm going to chip away at his soul. Then he's gonna definitely crumble.
And then you mentioned this was your U.S. debut, correct?
It is, yeah.
In Texas. Texan fans in general are a little more outspoken than most
Yeah.
American fans. Have you run into any? Yes, yeah, right here. Have you run into any interesting characters out here in Houston?
I haven't, no, not just yet. I mean, I've been here since Sunday, but we've not had a chance to obviously go around and look around and see things because, we've got to stay in the hotel and stay away from that COVID. We don't want no more setbacks. No more setbacks.
Right, going from Texas to talking about a more civilized city. Apparently the UFC are returning to London in August later this year, or there's at least talks about it. I don't know if you want to even look past this weekend, but would you like to get on that card if you could?
100%. I want to make up for lost time. I want to get in this Saturday night, make a statement, get a good win, and then I want to be in London if it happens.
Obviously, they're two very different fighters, but your last outing against Movsar Evloev, frustrating fight, obviously. Were there any takeaways from that you feel you can bring into this fight that will make you better prepared to deal with Vannata?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I got back, the kind of person I am, I broke my jaw that fight. Went and had an operation straight away, but I was back training the day after. I was jogging, but main thing what I was doing, I was working on my mistakes and speaking to my coach straight away, and I've definitely learned a lot from that fight. And I've looked back at it, and there's a few things I did do wrong in the fight as well, but I've corrected them, and I'm good to go.
I mean, would you be willing to go into any detail on that when you look back at that fight? Were there things that you definitely would do different, if you had it again?
It's just, well, first of all, the choke I had in the first round, it was a shallow Dars choke that I kind of grabbed my forearm rather than grabbing my bicep. That was the mistake I made on that side of things. But he obviously practiced for it, and he's obviously very good at getting out of chokes. I mean, he fought Nick Lentz after that, and he got into a couple of chokes there. So, but I'm not going into too much detail, but I've definitely figured out some problems after that fight.
Thank you.
We're good. Thank you, everyone. Thanks.
Back, Edson. I got to ask, the win last time out, we saw the emotion that you had then. Can you put that into perspective, just how much it meant for you to finally get back in the win column?
It's funny, when the fight finished, I was so scared, for real. I said, oh, come on. In my mind, I said, I have to finish it, because I finish, I have to finish. But when I go to the judge hands, I was like, oh, please, God, not do it again, not again. But yeah, it's crazy feeling. That's what happened when you don't finish the fight,
Does it change things like training and preparing for a fight, like knowing you don't have the weight of those losses on your shoulder? I mean, has it been a different feel, like in the gym as you prepare?
Yes, I think it's automatic, I have to put in my mind, say, hey, side, if I win or loss, it's gonna happen again. And that's what I was like, okay, I have to finish. That's on my mind right now. I have to finish because I don't want to pass through this again.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like Jorge Masvidal famously, right? He said, "Oh, I just realized if I just knock all these people out, I don't have to worry about it." I mean, at the highest level, it's kind of hard to just be like, "Well, I'll just knock everybody out. That's easier."
It's funny, like you said, it's not easy like that. Finish the fight, especially in the high level. But I know I can finish. That's in my mind. I know I can finish anybody. Look at my last 2 fights. I dropped the guys. It's a little detail I don't finish, but yeah, I can finish.
7 months, right, since you fought last. Was that by design? Did you have things to address, or did you hope to fight a little bit sooner?
Yes, I was, like you said, I hope to fight sooner, but I think the fight come the right time. Give me a time to train, getting better and better every single day. I feel better and never. I'm get older and feel stronger, faster, everything getting better, because I feel I get learn my body. I can, feel my body, what I need to do. And the fight come in the right time. What
do you think about the opponent, a guy that's had some buzz around him? A lot of people look at him as kind of an up-and-coming type guy. Do you see him as a top prospect like that?
Yes, of course. He's number 9, I think, in the rank. He's one of the best. He's a top 10. He always his fight, he's put a show. I like to watch him because I know every time he's fight, he's put a show. Look at his last fight. I think last 2 fights, great fights. And that's making me very excited. It making me like, okay, you have to train because the guy's tough. And that's I was training a lot, and I'm ready for this.
Have your goals changed at all? Like I said, when you were dealing with the losses, I'm sure the goal was just get a damn win. You know what I mean? But now, has it changed to like what you want to accomplish or what you're moving towards?
Yes, of course. I was, more than ever, I feel I have everything to be a featherweight champ. I have everything, more than ever. And I feel that's my time. I signed a new contract UFC for 6 more fights. I know that's going to be my best contract in my life. And that was very exciting.
It's hard to talk about championship aspirations, right, when you have losses. But now you're back on a winning streak. Do you feel like this is an opportunity to make a statement to kind of remind people that, like, hey, I'm still that guy?
For sure. I think, especially from the next fight right now, if I go there, put a big show, everybody remember me. Hey, it's on the right way to get his chance for the title shot. That's making me very excited. That's what I think about every single day. I go to the gym, train hard, and I know I'm on the way.
What do you think about how popular leg kicks are getting right now, right? The calf kick, like that's like the big thing in sport. You're like the guy, you've been the master of that since you came in. What do you think, seeing like how much of a weapon it is in MMA now?
I don't know why. I do this in my first fight in UFC. I finished the guy more than 10 years ago with the leg kicks. Everybody got surprised right now. But yeah, man, the simple works. That's I really believe, The simple leg kicks, calf kicks work very well. And it's always work in my fights. If you see my all fights, you know, I always catch the guy in the leg and it still work well.
Last thing for me, talk to me about what kind of fight you think we're going to see. Because on paper, it looks like it's probably going to be a pretty exciting fight. Are you expecting it to be kind of a back and forth war, or do you think you can go out there and dominate the guy?
I want to go there, dominate for sure, but it's gonna be a big war. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a big war. That's what I'm training for. I'm ready to 15 minutes, go back and forth, and it's gonna be very exciting. I'm a fan. I love to watch this fight. I know when this fight finish, I want to go straight back to watch because I know it's gonna be a fun fight for sure.
Edson right here. Outside of Shane's durability and his wild style of fighting, what do you make of his actual technical skills inside the octagon?
He's really good. He's a great boxer. You know, he's have a really good boxing. There's a lot of pressure, and he moves very well. He's a great fighter. You know, you talk about one of the best guy in the world.
And then was it his last fight, that fight against Josh Emmett that a lot of people say was one of the best fights of the year? Was that really when he got on your radar as a possible opponent?
Yeah, maybe. Why not?
Edson over here. You talked about being prepared for a war. Are you content winning a technical fight?
That's a training this camp for war.
And John alluded to you from day one. You've been a kick specialist here at the UFC. Have you ever, when you see something like that happen, Chris Weidman, I know it's part of the game. Has that ever crossed your mind, as much as an active kicker you've been, that like that's a chance that you take when you wind up and kick with that force that y'all kick with?
It's a risk. It's a part of the job. You know, that's part of my job. You see how many car accidents having every single day, and you don't stop to drive your car. I do the same thing. I see sometimes the guys broke the leg with a kick, but I definitely don't stop to throw the kick. But I know this can happen with me. You know, that's part of the job. You know, it's hard to watch, of course. It's so hard to watch, but it's part of the job.
I know you were active. You fought during COVID, but was COVID, did it help you out or did it hurt you? Since you're older, did it kind of slow down your progress or kind of like give you a chance to go back to that drawing board and add some tricks to make the run that you want to make?
Sorry, can
during COVID, did the downtime in COVID, did that help you out or did that hurt you? Or did it give you the chance to go back to the drawing board and add more to your game to make a run like you want to make a run for that belt?
Yes, definitely helped me. It's one thing, COVID helped me a lot because I will stay a lot with my family, with my kids, and that's the COVID. The people say, stay in the quarantine, stay in the family in the house. I'd say, oh, that's a perfect, but I really love it. But yeah, it's helped me too to keep my mind strong, and I work super hard in the COVID time, you know, every single day, sometimes in my garage. But thank God I have the best team in the world, American top team. And he's no stop one day in the COVID time. You know, I trained super hard the whole period of the COVID, and that's what's here right now.
And final question for me: with Houston being a fight town, one of the UFC's best towns to put on great action-packed fights, you think you can get a feel of that adrenaline with crowd finally? Again, had a crowd in over a year and a half. Are you looking forward to that?
I was preparing myself for that because it's different, very, very different. Especially for my style, you know, every time I hit the guy, I feel the people like, oh, that's making me very excited, you know, like push me, go again. And I'm very excited to see everybody back, man. Very excited and very, very happy to have opportunity to fight against whole crown.
Is your son still only doing jiu-jitsu?
Sorry?
Is your son still only training jiu-jitsu?
No, he stopped. I don't push him to do nothing in any sport, but he's very athlete. He do everything, and he started baseball this season. He doing very well. It's not because I'm daddy, daddy. You see, oh, he's really good. No, but he's doing very well, and he loved baseball. It's funny because in Brazil you don't have baseball. I never watch a game of the baseball. I don't know the rules. I don't know nothing about the baseball, and he love it. Love it. He played twice a week, and he still love it with the baseball.
So you don't know what position he plays?
I have no idea. I know you have to hit the ball and run. That's it. That's how I train with him. No, I throw the ball, you hit the ball. Run.
obviously the start to the UFC career has gone pretty well so far. How would you describe his run in the UFC so far?
Sua estreia no UFC começou muito bem até aqui. Como é que você descreveria esse seu início na organização?
Boa tarde. Sensacional, né? Uma sequência boa de vitórias, trabalhando bastante. Então, sábado é mais um passo rumo ao tão sonhado top 15.
Good afternoon. It's spectacular. I've been on a winning streak, working a lot, and Saturday is another step towards the top 15.
When it takes 10 years to get to the UFC, I mean, do you imagine that you're going to come in right away and win 2 fights and beat people, or do you worry, like, do I really belong there or not?
Demorou 10 anos na sua carreira para você chegar no UFC. Você chegou a pensar assim, o que eu preciso fazer? Será que eu pertenço lá mesmo?
Com certeza. Passa algumas dúvidas na sua cabeça, mas eu sempre tive muita fé em Deus e sempre trabalhei muito duro, sabendo que um dia teria a oportunidade e ela surgiu através do Contender Series e eu soube aproveitar muito bem a oportunidade, por isso eu estou aqui hoje.
A lot of doubts go through your mind, but you have to keep working hard, thinking that the opportunity might come, and it came through the Contender Series, and I'm very grateful to be here today.
Very nice. I know he was supposed to fight in January. I apologize if I missed. What happened that he wasn't able to compete in January?
Você estava com luta marcada antes, ele perguntou o que aconteceu que você não conseguiu fazer.
Infelizmente, eu tive uma lesão e eu fui no hospital e o médico me afastou da luta.
Unfortunately, I had an injury. I went to the hospital, and the doctor prohibited me from fighting.
Any surgery, or has it just been rehab to get back?
Foi ter que fazer alguma cirurgia? Foi só uma reabilitação? O que aconteceu?
Só uma reabilitação e repouso.
Only rehab and resting.
Fantastic. You end up getting a matchup with Jacare. I mean, obviously a legend of the sport. What happens when they come to you and say, "We want you to fight Jacare"?
Jacare é obviamente uma lenda do esporte. O que acontece quando o pessoal chega e fala aí assim, você vai lutar com o Jacare?
Eu venho do jiu-jitsu, então a gente sabe a importância que o Jacare tem para a nossa modalidade, mas a gente vai lutar em MMA e o período dele já teve a oportunidade dele, eu quero a minha oportunidade e passa que essa oportunidade pode mudar a minha vida, assim como o Contender Series. E eu estou muito bem treinado, muito bem focado, vou fazer uma grande luta e sair com a vitória.
Jacare is a legend in jiu-jitsu and he represents the sport, but we're fighting MMA. He had his opportunity, now I'm looking for my opportunity, and this is my time.
Is there any chance, though, as you said, I mean, he's a legend, especially in Brazil, so I mean, is there any chance when you get in the cage, it's like, that's Jacare on the other side of the cage?
Como você falou, ele é uma lenda, né? Tem alguma chance de você entrar no octógono ali, ficar de frente para ele, ficar impressionado de alguma forma?
Acredito que não. Eu cheguei aqui por mérito total de trabalho duro. No jiu-jitsu eu já lutei contra grandes nomes do jiu-jitsu já. Então eu estou preparado para esse momento, para essa luta e vai ser uma grande luta.
I don't think I'll be impressed. I've got here through my hard work. I've faced tough fighters in jiu-jitsu as well, so I'm just ready for this fight.
When you get ready for a fight with a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu legend like Jacare, is the game plan, let's just stay as far away from the ground as we can? Or is it like, well, I kind of want to go on the ground and show the world that I can beat Jacare in Jiu-Jitsu?
Quando você vai enfrentar um cara como ele, a estratégia é, quero evitar o chão o máximo possível ou quero me testar, aceito ir para o chão para ver se meu jiu-jitsu bate com dele?
A gente vai se testar.
We'll go to the ground.
Very nice. Very nice. I guess last thing for me then, what's the goal here? I mean, does this feel like a big moment in your career? I mean, certainly you want to win, but you win over a legend like that. Do you feel like that's an opportunity to really kind of announce yourself on the scene?
Você sente que uma vitória sobre um cara com o nome dele é uma oportunidade de você, de fato, se anunciar para todo o resto da divisão, para os fãs?
Com certeza. Se tudo ocorrer bem, sábado a gente sai com uma grande vitória. A gente entra no radar da organização, dos outros lutadores, e bem possível que a gente deve pleitear aí um top 15 da categoria. Então, tudo muda a partir de sábado com a grande vitória.
Absolutely. If we win on Saturday, we'll go on everyone's radar and we're looking for a top 15 next, if we manage to get a great victory.
Andre, right here. You mentioned Jacare is obviously a legend of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Had you met him before you had signed in the UFC down in Brazil or in training at all?
Você já conhecia o Jacare antes do UFC? Já conheceu ele no Brasil?
Já encontrei com ele em algumas competições. Eu tenho até foto com ele quando eu era mais novo no Campeonato Mundial de Jiu-Jitsu. Eu estreiei no UFC São Paulo, onde ele era o card principal. E já conheço há tempo já. Então é uma grande oportunidade. Eu espero aproveitá-la ao máximo possível.
I've known him for a long time. I even took a picture with him in a World Jiu-Jitsu Championship once. So I know this is a great opportunity. My debut in UFC, he was the main event. So this is a great opportunity for me.
And then you said you had no problems going to the ground and grappling with him. He's to UFC fans, he's kind of the top of jiu-jitsu. So how is your grappling different from his inside the octagon?
Você falou que você não tem medo da luta agarrada dele, do chão dele, e obviamente ele é um nome que é marcado pelo jiu-jitsu no UFC. Como é que o seu chão se diferencia do dele?
Eu acredito que a gente trabalha de forma diferente. Ele joga mais por cima, eu trabalho de costas mais no tatame. Não é que eu não tenha medo, é que estou preparado para o jogo dele, é diferente.
We work differently. He likes to work on top. I work on the guard very well. It's not that I don't fear his ground game, but I'm prepared to deal with it.
And then oftentimes in MMA, when you get too high-level grapplers or wrestlers, a lot of the fight is standing or striking as well. So he obviously has a lot of knockouts. How would you compare your striking to his striking?
Muitas vezes, quando tem dois caras da luta agarrada, a luta acaba acontecendo inteira de pé. E ele já mostrou que ele tem alguns knockouts na carreira. Como é que você compara a sua trocação com a dele?
Bem, eu venho treinando há muito tempo o meu Muay Thai, evoluindo constantemente, e eu acho que tem certas lutas que você tem que trabalhar o jiu-jitsu e outras lutas que você tem que trabalhar a sua parte de trocação. Talvez essa luta possa realmente ocorrer somente em pé, porque é a oportunidade também de me testar. Eu tenho muito a mostrar ainda, e quando eu conseguir mostrar todo o meu potencial, vocês vão ficar surpresos. Entendeu? Eu estou evoluindo muito a minha parte em pé, e a possibilidade de nocaute é muito grande.
I've been working Muay Thai for a long time now, and maybe this fight is standing up for 15 minutes, but I have a lot to show. I'm evolving quickly, and when I'm able to show you guys what everything I've got, you'll be surprised.
Very good.
guess the big question is, did you fly yourself here, or did you take a commercial flight?
Commercial flight, right? Yes. So in my airplane, so it would be a little bit long, a long way to go.
Why did you want to become a pilot? I'm just curious. I've watched your whole journey of getting your license and everything. Is that like a post-career job for you, or is it just a hobby? It seems like a pretty intense thing to do.
Why I started it, because during my life I always wanted. I had this interest in aviation, in people who flies, and because we travel so much and we had these all flights like for competition and overseas flights, and I was looking, wow, these pilots, people, they do amazing stuff. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And I always like read about aviation, about airplanes and flights and everything. And here in US, actually, there is a lot of general aviation. It's so developed. There is a lot of flight schools and everything. So it was good time to start. And I just started. I really fell in love in aviation. And now, recently in April, I got my commercial license. And I really thinking to have this as my future career.
Nice. Well, now you've got the fighting career to do. I want to ask you about your last win. It was a big win. It felt like a big moment in your career. Did it feel like a big victory for you over kind of a recognizable name and a tough opponent?
Yes, absolutely, of course. And every fight is important here. Every fight bring you in a better position in the division. And of course, I didn't think about names or something. I just was thinking about how important the victory for me. And the event was before together with my sister, and it was the first event when the first sister fights together, and it was very important to me to win.
It was curious because you guys fought pretty close together this time, but not the same card. Do you want to keep fighting on the same card as her? Is it a little difficult, to both do it in the same night?
I love to fight in the same night, yes, because it's same training camp. We have same atmosphere at home. It's all together, all the same. Even now, it's a little. Our fights are close together, but there is a little bit of difference because Valentina won her fight, and at home in our fridge you can find already cakes and ice creams and stuff like this. But when we are doing it together, so it's all the same.
It's tough because obviously at the championship level, title holders usually don't fight, maybe twice a year or something like that. I mean, is that okay with you? Would you be okay with, only fighting twice a year or something? Do you want to fight more frequently than she may be able to?
I would fight actually more frequently, yes, than 2 times a year. It just for me was last couple years that I fought this same like 2 times, and last year I had knee surgery. That's why I had this. But I hope this year it will be this fight and 2 more.
Matchup with Andrea Lee. I know you said you don't think maybe about names and stuff, but she's been around a little bit. So what do you think about her as an opponent?
Yeah, she's a good, strong opponent, of course. She had her last 3 losses, but with opponent on high ranking. So, and of course, it would bring her in situation when she's like will be more motivated for the victory, because she would not want to have this the loss number 4. And she would be more aggressive, and she's fighting at her home. She's local with people, full stadium of people, of fans and everything. Yeah, I understand all of this. I'm ready for all of this. And the one thing I'm caring about is just my performance. That's it.
I mean, I feel like you and your sister both are very popular figures in the sport, but you said it, you're going to be in her backyard. Are you prepared to be maybe booed or be the, be the enemy on fight night?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the previous event, 261, showed how fans missing the events, how they want to assist events. And the event actually was so crazy because people started to cheering up for fighters from the beginning, from prelims, the first fight in prelims and till the end. So I believe they would do the same in this night, and I expect to have my Latin American fans here in Houston. So we'll see how it will go.
You do some training in Houston sometimes, right? So is it kind of special for you at all to fight here?
Yes, when we came to US here, we lived in Houston like more than 2 years. So it was our home here, and we have friends here. We have people who we know, places that we trained before. And yeah, every time we travel from Las Vegas to Houston, from Texas to Nevada, we stop with previous friends that we had and train together.
Last thing for me, I mean, obviously every fight you want to win, but does this feel like a big moment? Because you've had kind of some ups and downs so far, right? But you win this, got a little winning streak together, recognizable names. I think people might start to look at you as a real force in the division. So does this feel like kind of a big fight?
Yes, it feels exactly the big fight, just exactly for this reason, because yeah, I have ups and downs. So to move forward, to prove myself that I can do this, I have to have win and win and win and win. That's what I want to do. Yeah, that's why it's important to have this win after my last win.
Antonina, straight ahead. You mentioned Andrea's 3-fight losing streak, but 2 of those were split decisions, and a lot of people actually think she beat Lauren Murphy when that fight was here. Did you think that she got an unfair decision in both of those losses, in her 2 split decision losses?
I saw her fight with Roxanne Modafferi, and Roxanne won this fight, so I think this decision was good. I didn't see exactly the fight with Lauren Murphy, but if it was split decision, it was pretty close. Yeah, so I believe the fight was pretty close, so it could go either way. So yeah, it makes her losses like less.
And then you obviously have extensive background in Muay Thai. You have a lot of titles. She has a lot of kickboxing and boxing titles. So what do you make of her striking inside the octagon?
She has good striking, yes. She has good, versatile striking technique. But she has good wrestling as well. I mean, good grappling as well. So I believe that I have to be ready for everything, because if something will not work to her in this fight, she would switch to another.
Antonio over here. Are you looking forward with her have the 3 losses to kind of go for broke and like just make it a street fight, like not a technical fight, just come out guns blazing since she got the crowd, she's local and she kind of has nothing to lose?
We'll see, because it could be a strategy to make this like dirty fight or like something not technical. If it's not a strategy, it would be stupid, kind of, because yes, you're desperate for the win, but you have to be clever still. So you cannot just put everything in just doing something that not will work for you.
And you alluded to earlier about kind of getting on a consistent win streak. Is that a big thing for you to kind of get on a win streak?
Yes, it's a big thing for me, because this thing that allows me to climb up in the division. So if it will be up, down, so I will be in the same positions that I'm now, between 12 and 15 positions that I was in these years. So if I want to be better in top positions, so I have to have win and win and win.
And of course, you didn't fight 261, but being there around the crowd in that crazy atmosphere, how much does that inspire you? You know, you were there in your sister's corner just to get that energy, and like you already knew, 7,000 people at prelims is unheard of.
Yeah. I mean, when I was with my sister in her corner for the event, because Valentina was fighting, and fighter, he cannot see all the general picture because he's so focused on his own. But I could see it, the general picture, and people were crazy. They were so supportive. They were cheering up so loud, and they were singing her name and everything. When I saw it, I thought, wow, this is. Yeah, I was in middle of my training camp, and it's kind of middle training camp. It's kind of always difficult because you're already tired, but you still have time to go, and it motivated me so much. Seeing all this picture of people, of fans, and everything, And every time I was training and it was getting harder, I remembered that picture, and it remembered me why I have to keep going on the trainings.
And final question for me: how big is Saturday about sending a message to the division and letting everybody know you're here and you're focused on making a run?
Yes, I mean, this event is very, very important, and this fight is very important. As a fighter, I really have to throw away all different thoughts about making the statement or something like this. The important thing for me is to concentrate, to perform good. If I in this night will perform good and will do my game, I will win the fight and will be great fight. Okay, thank you.
can you ask one more time, please?
Yeah. Let's say, congratulations. Your last couple wins, you've had 2 wins over some very established competitors in the division. So I'm just curious as to, kind of what you think the key to your success has been in the last 2 fights.
Você lutou contra 2 grandes oponentes das últimas lutas. Qual que é a sua chave? Qual que é o seu o diferencial que você tem tido até agora?
Eu faço meu treinamento todo lá em Brasília, né? Na Cerrado MMA, então a gente tem grandes atletas ali que me ajudam a estar evoluindo sempre. E a gente tem um ótimo professor de wrestling, de boxe, de Muay Thai e de chão também, que me faz evoluir a cada luta e mostrar sempre um grande show.
I've been training my academy in Brasília, Cerrado MMA. I have a great professors in wrestling, great coaches in ground game and striking, and I've been improving day by day and to be able to do a big show.
I know nobody likes to think about losses, but I wonder if she thinks about the loss to Jessica, because if she had won that fight, I think people might be saying, championship. So does she ever think about that, and is it frustrating?
Você pensa em relação à sua derrota contra a Jéssica da última vez? Só pensa em relação a como que isso afetou você, algo parecido?
Não penso muito, não. Passou. Eu trabalho muito com a minha psicóloga, né, sobre foco, sobre estratégia de luta, então a gente sempre foca na próxima luta. Então a derrota que aconteceu passou ali e eu procuro sempre tirar muito aprendizado das minhas derrotas e foi o que aconteceu. Então estou vindo de duas vitórias aí expressivas e continuo e espero continuar buscando sempre mais vitórias.
No, don't affect me at all because I lost. I have a good keeper, my psychology, and mental coach also helped me a lot. And my keeper always focus on the next fight. We don't think too much about the fights I lost. So we keep doing the work and be able to do every time a better show and a better fight.
Got the victory in January, back just 4 months. Was it important to get booked again quickly and to fight quickly?
Você apenas lutou há 4 meses atrás. São importantes, faz diferença você pegar outra luta tão em cima da outra assim?
Sim, eu acho muito importante a gente estar sempre em atividade, né? E eu gosto de estar sempre em atividade para estar sempre com tempo de luta bom, com time de luta bom. Então, isso é muito importante e até o final do ano ainda quero fazer mais 2 lutas aí depois dessa e tá em ação, estar em atividade me faz evoluir a cada luta, me faz ser uma melhor lutadora.
It's really good for her because she have enough time to training, and this is good because she never lose the timing of every single fight, and she also is able to do 2 more fights this year because for her it's good to go keep the flow.
What do you think of the matchup with Katlyn? Obviously, Katlyn, former title challenger, she's been at the top of the division for a long time. So what do you think about Katlyn as an opponent?
O que você pensa em relação a Katlyn como sua oponente?
Sim, a Katlyn é uma atleta que usa muito bem a envergadura dela, né? Ela gosta de usar muito bem o striking e ganhar a luta por pontos ali, fazendo essa distância. E é isso, o jogo dela é esse, de levar a luta ali a favor dela por pontos.
So she know her game. She have a long arms, but her game plan usually is win the fights or win points by decision. So she know the game plan. She's gonna change this one.
Win this fight, and I think people would probably be talking about a potential title shot. Do you feel like if you win this fight that you should be in the discussion for fighting for the title?
Não.
Depois dessa luta, ele acha que depois dessa luta vão falar sobre o título. Você acha que depois dessa luta você se sente capaz de lutar pelo título?
Sim, a gente está indo para fazer uma grande luta, né? Com certeza sair com uma grande performance aí sábado. E a chance da disputa do título vir vai ser grande e a gente está se preparando muito para isso e quando surgir a oportunidade a gente vai estar pronto.
Essa luta, ela está focando nessa luta primeiramente, assim.
Poxa, é inglês.
I'm sorry, guys. I'll really work here. So she think about this victory. First, she think about this victory first, and she knows they're gonna talk about the title. But if it happens, she's ready. She's doing the work pretty good for. She's ready for this in case coming.
Last thing for me, I guess. Obviously, every fighter is looking at the champion in their division, but I just wonder what it's like. I mean, Valentina has been so dominant in the division. So are you seeing holes in her game and trying to see how you would fight her if you get there, or is it almost kind of intimidating to see the way she's just dominates her competition?
A Valentina vem dando tão bem nas lutas que ela teve, tão dominante. Você acha que tem algum buraco ali, alguma estratégia que você já pensa em caso você lute contra ela?
Sempre existe, né, a possibilidade do atleta dar alguma brecha. A gente sempre vem estudando isso. Então eu acredito muito no potencial da minha equipe de montar uma boa estratégia, que são caras assim que eu confio bastante, né? Então, quando surgir a oportunidade de lutar contra a Valentina, com certeza eu estarei muito bem preparada, muito bem amparada, né, pelo meu time. E a gente vai estudando. A Valentina é uma atleta muito completa, mas com certeza tem brechas, ninguém é perfeito, né? Então a gente estuda muito ela.
Valentina, if you fight one day, of course everybody have some mistake or some gaps they can find it. Also have a really great team with her, and she trusts her team and the coaches. Of course, they're gonna find the nice game plan, but she trusts on them, she believes on them, and she know that nobody have a perfect game, and they're able to find the gaps and also get the victory too.
Right here. One last thing on Valentina. She's actually here because her sister is fighting. Have you run into her at all in the hotel?
A Valentina tá aqui, né? Mas a irmã dela vai lutar. Você tentou falar com ela, cruzou com ela em algum momento?
Não, ainda não.
No, yes, don't see her.
And then speaking of your fight against Katlyn, it seems like she makes her opponents very frustrated with her striking, kind of staying on the outside, like you said, with her long limbs. And obviously Jessica got in there to finish with the body shot. But outside of that, do you see many weaknesses in her striking that you can take advantage of?
Ela tem ganhado, a sua adversária tem ganhado bastante em relação à distância, que frustra muitos oponentes. Você acha que tem alguma... Desculpa, irmão.
Weakness.
Ela tem alguma coisa que você achou de falha no strike dela que você pode usar contra ela?
Assim, a gente estudou muito ela, né, durante esse camp, então a gente montou uma estratégia muito boa para anular essa distância dela, para entrar no raio de ação mesmo ali. E com certeza tem brechas ali. Eu vou usar muito a minha agressividade, muito a minha explosão para quebrar para entrar nesse raio de ação dela e surpreender ali com a minha mão dura.
We've been studying a lot her, Katlyn, and we got a lot of works about the strength, how to go forward, and she also gonna use the aggressivity she have, the resilience she have for fighting, and they're ready for the fight. Because sorry guys, the game plan is there, and she wanna do a great job.
She also has a very high-level grappling coach. She's with Renzo Gracie. She trains with Donnaher's, obviously, in her camp a lot, too. Have you seen anything from her grappling inside the octagon that impresses you at all?
Ela tem treinado com o Danaher, que é um dos melhores coaches do mundo no jiu-jitsu aí. E você tem visto alguma coisa do chão dela que te impressionou?
Das últimas lutas não me impressionou tanto, né, o chão dela. Eu que sou faixa preta de jiu-jitsu ali, e treino muito com os meus treinadores lá de Brasília, né, de chão, que são excelentes treinadores. E eu estou indo muito confiante também em fazer um bom jogo de chão e mostrar a qualidade do meu jiu-jitsu na organização.
No, she don't see nothing special because she's a black belt in jiu-jitsu too. And her coaches are been preparing her a lot, and nobody saw her ground game yet, and she ready to show if in case happens, she want to show how good she's doing in a ground game too.
That was great.
Everybody gonna ask
Welcome back, man. It's been almost a year at this point since you've had a chance to fight. So, I mean, I guess, first of all, how good does it feel to be fighting again? And did you think it would be this long of a stretch?
I definitely didn't think it was going to be this long, but it does feel good to be back, and this feels good too. Just like having a little bit closer to normalcy.
Yeah, getting back. It's nice to hear people actually want to do media. It's good. It's good.
It's been a while, so I miss you guys.
Talking about, January. You're supposed to fight in January. Didn't get a chance to do so. Were you surprised it took as long as it did to get rebooked? Like, what happened between then?
I wasn't, because I had a couple injuries and I was banged up going into that fight anyways. And then I got COVID, so I needed some time to recover from that. So it actually worked out. It worked out pretty good, I think.
I was gonna say, so it was almost a blessing. Like, I mean, because you were going to go in there hurt and just hope for the best, I guess.
Exactly. I was going in there for a paycheck, and obviously to win the fight. That's 100% the goal, and I still think I was going to win the fight, but I had some injuries, and that COVID really fucked me up.
How did the COVID impact you? I mean, because it's like different for everybody, right? We're all still trying to figure out.
It's weird how it is different for everybody, because I have a friend that has one kidney, and he got it, and he had to be hospitalized, but because he was dehydrated, not because he was sick. He was out a day after, and he was fine. I'm like, dude, how did you get it for basically 2 days? I had it for 10 days full. First day was really bad, exhaustedly tired, and just felt like absolute crap. Then the rest of the days after that, I was just lethargic the entire time. It was just so frustrating. I was like, and at that point I had the fight, and I was like, I'm literally starting this fight off with COVID. I'm like, this is so frustrating right now.
So what's been the focus since? I mean, obviously, healing up the injuries, just getting healthy, I guess, has probably been a big part of it. But what else has been the focus?
That's about it. But 2 weeks ago, I had my second daughter, second baby girl. Yep.
Congratulations.
That's been a little bit of an adjustment period, but my wife's been doing great.
So when the schedule for this fight came out, was there any talk about like, oh, maybe this isn't a good time?
There was. I tried to move it back a little bit further, but everything happens for a reason.
Nice. Now, obviously, the last fight out was a loss. Now you've had to dwell on it, right, for a year. So I just wonder, what's that like? Because I know everybody wants, like, after they lose, they want to get in there right away and get that out.
It's super frustrating, especially that one, because I know how everybody loved that fight. Everyone liked that fight, and I didn't like that fight, man. I lost. I feel like I did enough to win the first 2 rounds, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what I think. I lost that fight, and I've been just sitting on it, dwelling on it, like you said, for the past 11 months. So I'm ready to go out there on Saturday night and reverse it and get that win.
Very nice. They give you the matchup, Edson Barboza, a guy that's been doing it at a high level for a long time. So what'd you think when that was the name?
Oh man, I got goosebumps. Got like my hair standing up. I was like, yes, this is one, man. Because after that, I mean, you come off a loss, you don't know what you're gonna get offered. You don't know what you're gonna get, but to get a name like Edson Barboza right off of a loss, dude. I feel like this is the biggest fight of my career, honestly.
Yeah. Where do you evaluate him, right? Because he had some setbacks, but he's still obviously incredibly dangerous, right? He's a guy that I guess you're going to get hurt a little bit when you go in there. And
I embrace it. I'm not scared of it at all. He's one of those guys that I know I'm going to be seeing his highlight reel. I mean, I've been seeing his highlight reel since I was in high school, but for the next couple of days, since when Edson's fighting, they like to put that spinning hook kick of Terry Edom during fight week, so I know I'm going to be seeing that. But it's similar to when I fought Emmett. They just kept replaying Emmett knockouts, and I'm just like, all right, that's good, that's okay. But it's good because it keeps that little bit of fear, that little bit of those nerves, and you need those.
I was going to say, so you said you embrace it. Like on paper, when they announced this fight, I think everybody's like, oh, this is going to be an absolute war. I mean, is that what you feel like as well, or do you feel like I can go in there and dominate this guy?
Yeah, that's exactly what I feel like, the second part. But it's one of those fights that you run it 100 times, it's going to be exciting every single time. There's just no possible way that this fight could be boring.
Yeah. Last thing for me, I guess, obviously the goal here is to win, but what else? I mean, do you feel like, because I feel like you had like all this momentum behind you, right? Do you feel like you need to go out there and do something special to kind of regain that back?
Yeah, I got to go out there and not just win. Every time I win, I feel like I've had some good wins in UFC, but I need that statement-making win, and to do that over someone like Edson Barboza, who is a legend in the sport. He's definitely going to be a Hall of Famer. This is the one. This is the one for me.
Shane, right here. You obviously matched up with Hakeem Dawodu before this. He's on a long win streak. He's racking up a lot of impressive wins. Do you prefer fights against Edson, the legend, or do you want those fights against the guys that are just on these?
No disrespect to Hakeem, but everybody knows who Edson Barboza is, man. Like, it's one of those fights that this is going to propel me. Even though I'm ranked 9 and he's 13, I feel like this is one of those fights that's going to even push me even further. So how could I turn down a fight against Edson Barboza?
And then obviously in the last, few months, the rise of leg kicks has kind of been the talk of the MMA world, especially after the Conor fight, where we saw the Weidman Hall fight.
Yep.
So how do you train for someone like Edson, who, like he himself said, like, I've been doing this since my first UFC fight, and you obviously said it. So how do you train leg kicks? I'm sure it's difficult.
I come from a kickboxing, primarily kickboxing based gym already, so it's something that we've been doing for years already. Everybody on my gym can kick. Everybody in my gym is primarily a kicker too, so it works out for me.
And then since your last fight, a lot's been going on in the division. You know, you had the title fight, Max came back, the rise of Giga Chikadze, the Ortega zombie fight. So what do you make of this state of the division right now since your last fight?
It's been fun, man. I was bummed that the Ortega and Volkanovski fight got canceled because that puts a little bit of a logjam at the end, because then you got Holloway who's still waiting there because he's probably going to get a title shot next. So that's been a little bit of frustrating, but I haven't been able to fight, so it hasn't affected me too much. But moving forward, it might after this one.
Over here, Shay. What's your mindset coming in with this being the longest layoff of your career? You used to be an active fighter. You had COVID, and then all this is kind of like jitters, since it's kind of something fresh you've never done in your career.
No, it feels like I'm just picking back up where I left off. I don't believe in ring rust because I train my ass off. Like Dominic Cruz always says too, ring rust isn't real. Ring rust is what you make it. I'm in camp 24/7, 365, unless I have some kind of crazy injury, because this is my lifestyle. I live this, and this is what I do to provide for my family. So I take this super serious. I live this life.
Since you're a purist of the sport, do you watch all combat sports? Like, did you watch the Canelo fight last week?
Yeah, I did. Yes.
How much does seeing somebody like that at that level inspire you, just as a straight combatant and as a fan of just combat sports in general?
Huge fan of Canelo Alvarez. He's probably, I think pound for pound, he's the best fighter right now in the world, and the skill he has, man, it's beautiful to watch.
And you're a big level fighter. Do you take anything when you see somebody like that on that big stage from the mental game, like he doesn't flinch and stuff like that, or just seeing the people at 261? I know you wasn't there, but does that atmosphere get you ready to hear all the craziness you're gonna hear on Saturday?
Yeah, I was excited to see the weigh-in show for 261, just see the crowd, and then see when. But if you watch the first fight of that 261 card, it was packed and the fans were going wild, and that was just giving me fucking goosebumps, man. I couldn't wait to feel that myself. I can't wait to make the walk. I can't wait for the weigh-in show, which I didn't think I would be so excited for, but I'm actually hyped just for the weigh-in show to get that little bit of a teaser, just to feel that atmosphere again.
And is Saturday only about getting your hand raised, or do you have to put on a show because people are pegging y'all? If we were doing odds in Vegas, y'all are odds to win the fight of the night.
No fight of the night. This is gonna be my first performance of the night.
Also, so that's kind of, you got that swag. Is that insinuating that you think you're going to finish him?
Yes.
Hey Shane, New Yorker to New Yorker. Home's been hit hard. Gyms have been closed since they've only been open since August. So what's it going to mean for you to finally have the chance to step onto the mat and compete in front of a packed house, crowds of thousands?
Like I said, man, I'm excited to just feel that energy, just feel the crowd. And I got a lot of friends and a lot of family that follow me for all these fights. So as soon as they found out that this one's going to be open to the public, I got a lot of people coming. So to hear them and to see them in the crowd, it's gonna be crazy.
Thank you.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Rogerio, I know you haven't had to lose much during your career, so I just wonder what the last two results have been like for you mentally to deal with.
Você não teve muitas derrotas na sua carreira, então ele quer saber como é que você lidou mentalmente com essas duas últimas lutas.
É um pouco complicado, né? Mas a gente tem que aprender a lidar com isso aí e é a vida que segue, né? Não tem outro jeito.
It's a bit complicated, but we have to learn how to deal with it and life moves on.
Yeah. I know at the highest level of the sport, anybody can win and lose on any given night, but is there anything that you take out of the last two fights that you think, hey, I've got to get better at?
Esporte de alto nível, qualquer um pode ganhar ou perder, mas tem alguma coisa que você tirou dessas duas últimas lutas que você pode melhorar?
Sim, né? Toda derrota é um aprendizado. Acho que eu aprendi muita coisa aí e vou mostrar sábado.
We learn a little bit in every defeat, and I think I've learned a lot, and I'll show that on Saturday.
Very nice. Quick turnaround, just 2 months. Was that important to turn around quickly, or did it just happen?
Voltando a lutar 2 meses depois, essa volta rápida só aconteceu? Foi um interesse? Por que voltar tão rápido?
Não, o UFC pediu, né? A luta tinha caído, eles mandaram a proposta e eu aceitei. Tamo aí.
The UFC has asked me to come to replace the injury athlete, so I'll accept it and I'm here.
I wondered, coming in to step in on short notice with the losses, was that a difficult decision, or did it make you more anxious to want to fight?
Você voltar tão rápido de uma luta para outra vindo de uma derrota, é uma pressão ou te deixa mais ansioso para voltar logo?
Não, acho que é melhor, né? Eu ia ficar em casa só pensando na derrota, agora com essa oportunidade eu volto a pensar na vitória.
It's better for me than to stay home and think about the defeat. Now I can go back to the win column.
Matt, as an opponent, what do you think about his skills? Is he somebody that you had studied? What do you think about him?
O que você acha do Matt, seu oponente? É um cara que você estudou? O que você acha dele?
Um cara bem completo, né? Jogo de chão bom, movimentação boa. Eu acho que vai ser uma luta bem boa, sabe?
He's well-rounded. He has good ground game, good movement. I think it'll be a fun fight.
Last thing for me, what's important here? Is it just get a win and get those losses behind, or do you feel like you got to go out there and do something special, make some kind of statement, show people that, hey, I am a contender here?
O que é mais importante para você? Só conseguir a vitória para deixar essas derrotas para trás, ou você acha que você tem que mostrar algo mais para provar que você é um cara que está no topo da categoria?
Na verdade, eu não penso só na vitória, né? Eu quero mostrar algo a mais, né? Eu gosto da luta boa. Além da vitória, a luta tem que ser boa, né? Não adianta ganhar e, ser uma luta chata que ninguém quer assistir.
The win isn't the only thing important to me. I like to show a good fight for the fans. It doesn't matter just to win for the win. I like the fans to enjoy the fight, and I want to give them a good fight.
Right here. You obviously have a lot of submission victories. Your submission skills are top notch at flyweight. Matt also has a lot of submission skills in this division. So what do you make of his grappling skill set in the octagon?
Você e o Matt, os dois têm boas finalizações, tem algumas finalizações no cartão. Como é que você acha que o jogo de chão de vocês encaixa?
Então, acho que a luta na parte de chão vai ser bem movimentada, bem boa e bem perigosa para os dois lados, né? Quem errar primeiro vai perder.
I think the ground fight will be fun, interesting, and dangerous for both sides. Whoever makes the first mistake can get caught.
Then normally, when you get two opponents with high-level grappling, a lot of the fight at the beginning will stay standing, and then it will be a striking fight. So what do you make of his striking skill set compared to yours?
Muitas vezes, quando dois caras do chão se enfrentam, a luta acaba se desenrolando em pé. Como é que você acha que o jogo de trocação de vocês encaixa?
Então, acho que também vai ser uma luta bem boa na parte de pé, porque eu gosto de trocar porrada também, e ele também, então... Mas eu acho que a luta vai encurtar e a gente vai acabar caindo também. Vai ter os dois lados.
I also think it will be fun to strike with him. We both like to get into brawls, but I think the fight will end up getting to the ground eventually.
And then finally, this is at bantamweight because of the quick turnaround, the last-minute fight. Has this fight week been enjoyable, more enjoyable at all, knowing you don't have to cut those last 10 pounds to get to 125?
A luta vai ser no peso galo pela distância curta que você aceitou. Você está aproveitando mais a semana de luta agora que você não tem que cortar aqueles quilos extras para bater o peso mosca?
Na verdade, fica ruim também, né? Porque eu estava muito pesado, né? Por isso que a gente fez no peso casado, mas vai dar tudo certo.
It's also worse because I was very heavy for this fight. It's not very enjoyable, but it will work out.
I didn't want to interrupt. Sorry. That's funny. Well, listen, I know you. Nobody likes to focus on negative things, but I mean, can you talk about just, I guess, how frustrating this run has been for you, where you're like right there, but just not getting the result you want?
Yeah, definitely. You know, the last couple of fights I have gone to decision, and you know, some of them have been questionable, and you know, and in my mind, you know, I feel like, yeah, I deserved that win. So it's been frustrating, you know, because it looks bad to have 3 losses in a row. It would look better to have, I don't know, won and then lost one and then won one, or you know, vice versa. But yeah, it's a little frustrating. So got to go out there and do everything that I can to get this win.
I was gonna say, does it impact you at all, like on a daily basis, like in the gym or in your training approach or whatever, to feel like you've got to change something? I mean, obviously everybody at this level is working hard and doing the best they can, but do you like, I have to do something completely different?
Yeah, I feel like, you know, I'm like, man, am I not training hard enough? Do I need to train harder? Do I need to do something different? I mean, what is it? You know, I think for me, it's just, I haven't been focusing on like who I am and like my skill sets and what I'm great at. I think I've kind of gotten away from the best parts of me. And so for this fight camp, I've been focusing on that and trying to get back to that.
It's interesting. Is that like a trap? I think people fall into that sometimes, right? Like everybody wants to be the most well-rounded fighter they can, but like certain people just do things really well, right? So is it kind of a thing that focus on what got you there, so to speak?
Yes. You know, I feel like parts of me started, yeah, I don't want to say dull, but I mean, like, you know, some of my skills, I feel like maybe it started to dull a little, you know, and I needed to sharpen them, you know. So that's what I kind of focused on this camp, is just focusing on sharpening everything and just, you know, getting back to the best parts of me, like I just said. I went out to Colorado, you know, worked on a lot of striking there. I've been working on my wrestling and my grappling and just trying to, you know, sharpen everything that, you know, I need to get this win.
Nice. What did you think about the matchup when they gave it to you? I mean, obviously you fought a lot of veterans. She's got kind of a name to her, part of it with her sister, of course. But I mean, what did you think when this was the opponent that was offered?
I thought it was a great matchup. I'm thinking this is going to be an exciting fight. She's a striker, you know, she likes to stand and bang. But lately I've been seeing her, you know, take it to the ground, and she's started to take a liking to grappling. So, you know, we're both well-rounded fighters. So, I mean, this fight can go anywhere. I think that it's going to be exciting no matter where it's at.
Just, you say, I mean, everybody's said trying to get well-rounded. She's worried, but her best is her striking. So does part of you like want to engage her there to kind of put on a striking fight that could be a lot of fun? Or do you feel like, well, I know her grappling is probably her weakness, so that's probably an easier place to target?
You know, I mean, going into a fight, you want to expose someone's weakness, but I'm excited to take this fight, you know, everywhere. I want to fight her everywhere. So I want to, you know, stand and bang with her, and I want to take her down too, you know, and get a finish wherever it's at, you know.
Fighting in Texas, I mean, I guess, you know, once you get in there, it's just a cage. But I mean, is it special? Does that add something to you?
Just being closer to home, I think it's exciting. You know, I've fought here a couple of times before, and both times have not gone my way. So I'm here to make this fight, you know, mine, and I want to get my hand raised in Houston for the first time.
Last thing for me, I guess, is what, you know, as I said, you've been right there in these losses, you know, arguable some of them. So I mean, is this just about winning at all costs, just getting this kind of streak over with, or do you want to go out there and do so? Because on paper, it looks like it could be a pretty exciting fight. So what's more important to you, to go put on an exciting, entertaining fight, or just to get a win by whatever means necessary?
Well, both is important to me. You know, I want to be exciting. I want to go out there and, you know, get a performance bonus. And to do that, you have to be exciting, and you have to finish. You have to have a really exciting, you know, 3-round fight, or you have to have an exciting finish. So to me, it's important to do both. I want to go out there and continue to impress the ones that matter, you know, obviously the fans, but Dana, you know, because he likes to see exciting fights and exciting fighters in the cage. So it's important for me to go out there, get my hand raised, but be exciting too.
Was there any hesitation to take the fight in Houston, considering like your fight against Lauren Murphy? The vast majority of fans thought you won, and even the rest of that card, there were a lot of decisions that people were confused about from the judges, specifically in Houston. So, is there any hesitation to take another fight here?
Just a tad bit. I mean, and not because I mean, I definitely want to fight in Texas. I love Texas. You know, I'm from Texas. But my reason for just that thought was like, oh man, I mean, I made a statement, you know, and I might be on, I don't know who's judging the fight, you know, I might be on their bad side. I don't know. So yeah, I mean, there was slight hesitation. I'm just like, well, I can't let it go to the judge's hands, you know.
And then you obviously have an extensive striking background with your Muay Thai experience. She has a lot of experience in kickboxing and boxing. So how would you compare your striking to hers inside the octagon?
I guess it's hard to compare it because I mean I haven't competed or trained against her yet, but I'm sure that I think she's got a little bit cleaner striking than I do, but I think, you know, it's still tit for tat. You know, I'm you know, I have a lot of techniques and abilities that, you know, some people just haven't seen, and I haven't put out there yet, you know, that I'm going to hopefully in this fight.
Andrew over here.
Hey.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, Kendrick.
How big a deal is it to come out there? You say you want to put on a show. I asked her earlier, what if you went out there and just went for broke and took chances? And she's like, that would be stupid. What do you think about her saying that?
Stupid? I don't think it's stupid. I mean, you see a lot of fighters go out there, you know, and they take chances, and then they end up getting some crazy finishes. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. But, you know, for me, it's not that I plan on going out there and doing anything stupid, you know, and just going balls to the wall. I mean, I still plan on being smart about my approach, but I just mean I'm going to bring the fight to her, you know.
Do you think the fact that you're a better athlete than her, you think that'll play to your advantage? Because she's very technical and kind of, I don't want to use the word robotic, but very plotted out with what she does. Do you think putting pressure on her and making her uncomfortable will be something that you have to do to see what she's made out of? Because she likes to dictate the terms of the pace.
I think putting pressure on her definitely helped. You know, I don't think she really likes to fight backing up, but she's still a threat, you know. So, I mean, you don't want to just go out there and just, you know, I don't want to just go out there, try to take her down, you know, and then catch a knee on the way in or anything like that.
Are you worried about any of her power in her hands? Of course, we know she got kicks and knees.
It looks like she has power. I mean, I saw her, you know, she's got a good solid left hand. So, I mean, I'm not too concerned though.
And of course, you know, being in Houston, how everybody likes a crazy fight. How do you keep your emotions in check? Being from here, you got probably family that's coming to see you. You got people that hadn't seen fights live here in a year and a half. How you gonna plan on dealing with all that emotion? Because it's gonna be craziness in the air on Saturday night.
Just take a deep breath, you know, and take it all in and just make myself relax and stay calm. I mean, that's all that I can do, you know, and just enjoy it. I mean, I'm here. This is supposed to be fun, you know, so I'm just embracing everything.
One question for me: with this coming on the losing streak with all the close decisions, is this a must win for you?
Definitely, yes. It's definitely a must win for me. Thank you.
All right, Shane Burgos joins us. He returns to action at UFC 262, May 15th in Houston, taking on Edson Barboza. And this is a fight everybody has circled on their fight cards right now. Shane, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on.
So no one got to really see it because you went in the bathroom and you slicked it back a little bit, but that hair, man, is unbelievable right now. What's going on?
I just been growing it out for me. My hair grows so damn slow. You know, let me just see how long it takes me to grow out. And I shave the sides, but I keep the front and the back going long. And it's been like 2 years, and it's barely down to my shoulders. Like, it takes forever for my hair to grow.
That's 2 years worth?
Yeah, basically 2.5 almost.
Well, first things first, we saw that another member of the Burgos clan was welcomed to the world recently. When did that all happen?
Tuesday, last Tuesday. She should be a week old tomorrow. Yeah, my second daughter came, Grace.
So, I mean, you're a top 10 guy at 145. You got a guy like Edson Barboza standing across from you in less than 2 weeks. There's plenty of motivation there already, but I'm sure this new addition puts it over the top even more, having a new baby in the house, right?
100%. I mean, you can't even put that into words. Yeah, I'm not just fighting for myself. I mean, I've had my first daughter. She's 4 years old now, but so I'm always fighting for her. But now to have 2 mouths to feed and a wife, yeah, man, it's everything I do is for my family.
You're outnumbered now, 3-1.
Yeah, and I have a girl cat too. So.
4-1. So, man, this is a fun fight coming up in Houston, Shane. Like, I'm sure when the contract came and you saw Edson Barboza's name on the other side of it, this one probably checked off all the boxes for you, right?
Absolutely. It's one of those fights that I was like, yes. coming off that fight with Emmett, I only want guys that are exciting like this and killers like Edson. And those kind of fights excite me. They wake me up in the morning. They make me get my ass out of bed and get my ass on the treadmill and get to the gym. These are the fights that I live for, because I'm a huge fan of the sport. Everybody knows I'm obsessed with this sport. This is one of those fights on paper. It can you play this fight 100 times, it'll never be boring on paper. It's never going to be boring. Just period. It's going to live up to all the hype.
I know coming out of the Emmett fight, we spoke like a couple days after. It was mostly about the rankings and how that all played out, and you weren't too thrilled about that. But one of the things that you were kind of pondering was like when you might be able to come back, because you said that you were willing to take as much time as needed because you weren't sure what kind of, lingering injuries. I know you're going to get checked out and all these different things. What was there anything that you were able to discover after that fight, or were you all good?
No, I was all good, honestly. That was such a
pretty fantastic fight the last time out. I guess was that a big one for you in terms of the result and the performance?
Yeah, I mean, at this point in my career, I'm kind of like facing guys, names that I came up watching. So it's always a feather in the cap to go out and get a win over a guy like Tyson Nam. But we're onward and forward. I've got Rogerio Bontorin in front of me. So, honestly, not giving much thought to the last performance.
Nice. The change of opponent, I guess you got Rogerio Bontorin now. You didn't. What did you think? I mean, does that, when you get an opponent change like that, I mean, do you consider it all like, maybe we should move and give ourselves a little more time or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, we took everything into consideration, all of the options. Ultimately, I decided that I wanted to fight in Houston, and strangely enough, I'm the only guy on this card with Houston roots. I live here, and I don't think that was necessarily on purpose. It just is how it worked out. But yeah, I was willing to do what it took to stay on this card, and I said yes to every name that they had on the roster. So I'm happy that Bontorin was able to accept, and it makes sense. It's a fight that makes sense.
Why was it important for you to stay here? Was it for you, like, you want the experience, or was it for like, your friends and family who probably don't get a chance to see you compete? Like, what was important about it?
No, all for me. All for me. No, I had put in a lot of work for preparing for Alex Perez, and felt that it wouldn't be good if I just let all that work go to waste. And yeah, sure, we could have moved the fight, but I really, really liked the idea of fighting here in Houston. And, you never know what's going to happen out there. Bontorin's a tough guy. Alex Perez is a tough guy. They're pretty similar. So I felt like it wasn't like I had to, go back to the drawing board or anything. So yeah, it worked out the way it did. I was willing to do anything to stay on this card though.
Have there been any challenges associated with it? I mean, I know this was a tough ticket to get. Has there been, more requests of your time or more demands? People don't understand, like, hey, I'm on fight week, leave me alone.
Sure, no. I've been doing this 13 years now, and I've got a lot of people. Whole trailer park's going to be out to come watch me. So, but they know what the deal is. They know they leave me alone. So, I've been doing it for a long time, and looking forward to seeing all my friends and family and everybody in between. And yeah, I feel like everything I've ever done has kind of accumulated to this. And in the past, I've let myself down in big moments, and I've put in the legwork for this. So, victory never guaranteed, but we're going to go out there and scrap.
Like, had you been watching Bontorin before? I mean, did you know much about his game before you were given the offer?
Yeah, I got my eye on all these guys. So, yeah, I'm watching them all. He's good. He's tough, big, strong kid. We're fighting at 35, watching him walk around. He looks every bit of it. He's a big boy, so I anticipate he'll be physical and try to bring it to me early. But yeah, let's go out and sort it out. I know what he has to offer. I have yet to display everything that I can do, I feel like, and what better time than this weekend, Saturday night.
Obviously a pretty quick turnaround after a tough fight. I mean, is that what's the plan moving forward here? Is this kind of the pattern you want to get in now? Is fighting more frequently?
I think now I've established myself with this company, hopefully, and obviously we got to keep it rolling, keep winning. But I've been busy my entire career. I've been doing this I've been fighting competitively for 12 years, and I have over 36 fights, MMA fights, as well as boxing and kickboxing and grappling on top of that. So I've always kept a busy schedule, and it's just been hard to get my footing. And, we had to come through the flyweight purge, and early on when you're 0-2 in the UFC, they're not knocking down your doors to get back out there. But Saturday night, I'm going to go out and continue to display that I'm a world-class martial artist, have a good time, try and let it loose out there, and I anticipate, we'll be back in here again. Quick turnarounds are nothing new to me. I'm a fighter.
Nice. Last thing for me, what's ideal for you? I mean, I'm sure it sure would be nice to go out there and throw one punch and the fight's over and you can go home. But, you know, a back and forth scrap in front of 15,000 people with the fans back in the building could be a pretty special environment too. So what would be ideal? Would you want to go out and dominate, or maybe have one of those brawls that brings that Houston crowd to life?
I'm ready to go 15 minutes. You know, at this point in my career, I know that I'm not gaining anything by going out there and getting my face punched off. So I'm going to try and do it seamlessly if I can. But as I said before, no promises for victory, but maximum effort. And I'm going to go out there and scrap.
Right here. He obviously has a pretty extensive background in submissions with his submission skills. You have a lot of submission victories in your MMA career. So how would you compare your grappling skill set to his?
My cornermen, they like to remind me that I'm still a purple belt. I've been doing this for a very long time. It's a dangerous game to toil. Those are in the chaotic moments, in the scrambles. That's when I find my best stuff. So I know he's a great grappler. I think if his game plan is to come in and grapple it, he should work to slow it down. Because in those moments, I find tricky stuff, and we've got that part of the game sharpened up too. I'm ready to grapple. I'm ready to strike. We can do it all.
Well, speaking of the striking, what do you make of his striking skill set in the octagon?
He's pretty short, but he's got long arms. So and he covers a good amount of distance, and he likes to fight from a strange range. So. I think in the big cage, I'm gonna try and get out there, touch him with my jab, and just feel out the distance and the range a little bit. But he can bring it. I mean, he throws thumpers. They're hard punches. When he goes, he rips it. And if you're standing there and on the center line and you catch something hard, he could hurt you for sure. This guy's physical. I don't know if his striking is as nuanced as mine, but I mean, we're fighting in 4-ounce gloves, so I'm not taking anything away from the guy. I know he can crack. I know he can swing them, but so can I.
And then I don't know if you watched the Jacksonville card, but it seems like a lot of the fighters, when they first made that walk out, the crowd reaction kind of caught them by surprise. They couldn't remember how it felt. Like Anthony Smith, I think, stopped and looked around for a bit. Have you envisioned that moment, especially being in your hometown, walking out there?
Yeah, I feel like I've seen it, I've felt it, I've dreamed it. I don't know how I'll react to it because, to be honest, I've never fought in front of a capacity crowd like this. And this will be, a 35-fight vet, but this will be something new to me to walk out in front of 19,000 fans. And like I said before, everything I've ever done, I feel like has added up to this. And I'm not going to let this moment be too big for me. I'm not super concerned with how many people will be there, but, I've earned this. I look forward to it, and I've seen it, and I've felt it. I've dreamed it. So, yeah.
Then finally, this is, of course, a bantamweight. Has fight week been any more enjoyable knowing you don't have to cut those last 10 pounds?
Yeah, I had breakfast this morning, so y'all could probably tell I'm in a little bit better mood. I feel good. I mean, and honestly, there's not much weight difference. Like today, I woke up at 143. I think if this was a regular week, I'd be more like 139. So a couple of pounds difference. And when I walk in there, I'll be carrying about a 5 to 6 extra pounds. Nothing crazy, but yeah, it feels good. And I feel like I can compete at 35 too. I've stated that before, and I'm a natural flyweight, but I have the dimensions to compete. And this will be interesting. I'm 1-1 as a bantamweight in the UFC. I go and I beat Bontorin. That'll be 2-1. I'll have a winning record in 2 different divisions. And for a little trailer trash kid from Northwest Louisiana, that ain't that bad.
Oh, they're bad. So is this a permanent move to 135, or you just filling it out still?
No, the reason that we're doing 35 is Bontorin took it late. He took it on a month's notice, and he's a big guy, so I think he has trouble making the 25 weight limit, and I can relate to that. So yeah, let's do it at 35.
What did you do during COVID that improved, since you had a whole year off that you weren't expecting to have off from live competition?
COVID was tricky because I just had my daughter, and we were.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. It's the best. We were hunkered down at home, kind of quarantined anyways with her. She was born in February. Everything kind of hit in March. And I put on my baby weight, and we had a lot of stuff where there wasn't a lot of training going on. Even here in Texas, it was difficult to find training. So it was a tricky time, but I value that time because I had great opportunity to spend with my wife and my daughter. And again, it's all accumulated to here and now. And there were hardships coming back from COVID too, because I got so heavy. I got really heavy, but we made the adjustments, and we've been putting in a good work routine, and I feel good. We're good.
With Texas and Louisiana being real big combat sports venues and people get into fights, do you watch others? Did you watch the Canelo fight last week?
I saw the highlights of the Canelo fight. I've got a bedtime at about 10 p.m. because I have a 1-year-old. So I did want to stay up and watch them, but I had to wake up the next morning and watch the highlights. I think it's great that we're back to business here in Texas and Louisiana. And it's so important that these fights continue. And I keep my eye on a lot of these fights. I commentate fights in Louisiana. I've recently commentated fights in St. Louis as well. So it's good to see these shows back ripping. And one thing that I can say from sitting in my seat is the talent out here, man, there are amateurs doing things that you wouldn't believe. And I think the COVID, for whatever reason, it has compounded these kids. The kids that work and actually put in the time, they got better during that time. And they're the ones getting the opportunity to go out and fight on these shows that are just now breaking, and they look good. So, COVID's been unfortunate for a lot of us, that there are some silver linings to it, but the fight game is ripping, and these young kids are hungry, and everybody needs to continue to support their local MMA events, because you're literally watching the next stars just fight at the dang convention center.
And final question for me: how big a deal is to go and find a way to get a spectacular finish, since we're starting to see on these big cards? Since we came back, we had 261. We had 3 spectacular finishes in the main event. We had Canelo breaking people's eye bones last week. Does that, as a fighter, inspire you? Or boom, I got to get, because people kind of, as the quote Jorge Masvidal, they crave that violence.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it would be a mistake for me to put thought into looking for anything spectacular. I think that's been a mistake in the past I've made. When I was younger, coming up in the UFC, I just wanted to show everybody how outstanding I was. And I just got to go out there, put in 15 focus minutes, and I'm a mother fricker. I'm going to go out there and whip this guy, and it'll be fun. I've put in a lot of work. I believe in my skills. I believe that the way I fight is aesthetically pleasing, and nothing's changed. We're going to go out there, bite down on the mouthpiece. I'm not looking for anything spectacular, but if I'm focused, spectacular things may occur.
Are there any names on the local scene we should be looking out for?
Names on the local scene. There's a kid from Lafayette, AJ Fletcher, who has been killing it. Looks really good. Another guy that just comes to mind from here in Houston, Cameron Graves, a kid that I've spent some time with, really sharp, good pair of hands on him. I went out to St. Louis, Missouri to watch a flyweight that I used to train with years ago, and he's making his pro debut. His name's Danny Morarity. And all these guys, all 3 of those names, they can do it in the big show. And I could sit up here and speak for days about the local talent from my area, specifically that little region of Houston and Louisiana. There's guys coming, so y'all pay attention. Thank y'all. Shout out to my wife. I love you.
Well done, sir.
All right, Shane Burgos joins us. He returns to action at UFC 262, May 15th in.
Just period. It's going to live up to all the hype.
I know coming out of the Emmett fight, we spoke like a couple days after. It was mostly about the rankings and how that all played out, and you weren't too thrilled about that. But one of the things that you were kind of pondering was like when you might be able to come back, because you said that you were willing to take as much time as needed because you weren't sure what kind of, lingering injuries. I know you're going to get checked out and all these different things. What was there anything that you were able to discover after that fight, or were you all good?
No, I was all good. Honestly, that was such a it was a war, and I came out of it basically unscathed. My hands actually didn't even hurt that bad. Usually after every fight, my hands are always sore as shit. But I was good after that fight. I took like a month off of sparring just because obviously it was a hard fight. Didn't want to get hit in the head right after fighting, and I had a little cut under my eye. But other than that, I was good.
So with everything going on with your wife being pregnant and everything, the extra time off, I'm sure that was just fine with you.
It to an extent. I was supposed to fight in January against Hakeem, and that fight fell through. So I mean, I wish that fight would have still went on, but everything happens for a reason, and I was going into that fight just very compromised. I started that camp off with COVID, and getting over that. Literally got word of the fight being moved to. It was supposed to be in December. It got moved to January, and I got COVID as soon as I found out. I was like, "You got to be fucking kidding me!" So as soon as I got over COVID, I had to jump right into a fight camp. Had a bunch of little injuries that were just nagging and annoying as fuck. So when he got hurt and he had to pull out, I was like, you know what? Everything happens for a reason, and this was supposed to happen.
Now you get Edson Barboza, obviously a long career at 155 before he made the drop. He had the fight with Dan Ige, lost a split decision, but a lot of people thought he won that fight, and then he gets the win over Makwan Amirkhani. And so far, he's looked pretty darn good down there at 145. And I know, like you said, you're obsessed with the sport. You watch everything. So what have you made of his move to 145 thus far?
Yeah, he does look pretty good at 145. I can't lie.
Jacare, good to see you. Hey, I wanted to ask you, your last fight was such a bizarre ending, and I haven't heard your thoughts on it. Nobody expects to get knocked out when they're in that position, right? So what did you take out of that result?
It was horrible for me. Nobody expect that shit, but he did a great job and beat me bad, So I was bad after fight, but I put my head up and continued to work. Yes.
Does it make you think like I have to be more aware in every position, or do you just go, that was crazy and that will never happen again?
That was crazy, never happening.
I like it. Talk about this last year for you, Jacare. Obviously, such a wild year with COVID and everything that happened. I mean, was this a difficult year for you in your career?
Yes, that was bad for me. The year is not good for me. I came as bad loss, bad decision. I never lost 3 times in a row, So even when I fought jiu-jitsu, it sounds crazy for me, but I put my head up and work hard to win this fight.
So now you get this fight, Andre Muniz. Did you know who he was or anything about him when they gave you the name?
I know him. He have a very good jiu-jitsu. He's a strong guy, young guy, and I know him because he's from Brazil. He fought against good fighters that I know, And when they gave me that fight, I just accepted because I'm not in good position. So, but I'm still alive, Yeah. I have to say something. Sometimes young lions kills old lions, But sometimes they die trying. I want to kill this guy, man. I'm ready to win.
Damn good line there, Jacare. That was good. You said he has good jiu-jitsu. Well, you have Jacare jiu-jitsu. I mean, he says he's going to go to the ground with you and he wants to test it out. Do you believe him?
I believe. But I'll be ready. I'll be ready to whatever he come to he bring to the octagon, I will be ready.
Nice. Are you thinking at all about the end of the career? I mean, obviously you're an old lion, but still a lion. But are you thinking at all about the end, or no?
Yeah, yes, I have some fights to do, but I'll be open my gym in the future. I think in the October I'll be a coach, but I have some fights to do in the UFC.
Last thing for me here, of course, you want to win. What's most important? Is it to prove something to yourself, or maybe to prove something to other people who say you're too old or it's gone? What's most important for you?
Win this fight.
Jacare, right here. When Andre was in here, we asked him to compare his jiu-jitsu to yours, and he said you more play on the top as opposed to him. Do you agree with that assessment, and how would you compare your jiu-jitsu to his jiu-jitsu?
It's a different style, no? On top, I fought very good on top, but my jiu-jitsu is good, no? When I fought jiu-jitsu, I submit the guys in all position, on top and inside, everything, you know. But I think it's different, only different, no?
And then often when you get two high-level grapplers, the beginning of the fight is mostly stand-up. You have a lot of knockouts in your career. So what do you make of Andre's striking in the octagon?
Yeah, he have heavy hands, you know. He's very strong, but I think my stand-up game is better than him.
Jacare, you said that, the old lion can still kill these young lions. Do you feel that some people, fans, are forgetting just how dangerous this lion is?
Probably, but I have to prove inside the octagon, you know. But I'll be ready for this fight. I train hard, and I want to prove that I'm still alive. Sorry, man. I try. It's hard to me speak English, but I try.
All right, Shane Burgos joins us. He returns to action.
He got hurt and he had to pull out. I was like, I don't make. I think he's a great test. Like I said, it's one of those things you're supposed to go through. So I mean, I wish that fight would have still went on, but everything happens for a reason. And I was going into that fight just very compromised. I started that camp off with COVID, and getting over that. Literally got word of the fight being moved to. It was supposed to be in December. It got moved to January, and I got COVID as soon as I found out. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. So as soon as I got over COVID, I had to jump right into a fight camp. Had a bunch of little injuries that were just nagging and annoying as fuck. So when he got hurt and he had to pull out, I was like, you know what, everything happens for a reason, and this was supposed to happen.
Now you get Edson Barboza, obviously a long career at 155 before he made the drop. He had the fight with Dan Ige, lost a split decision, but a lot of people thought he won that fight, and then he gets the win over Makwan Amirkhani. And so far, he's looked pretty darn good down there at 145. And I know, like you said, you're obsessed with the sport. You watch everything. So what have you made of his move to 145 thus far?
Yeah, he does look pretty good at 145. I can't lie, man. But he's looked good at 55 too. So I think he's a great opponent. I think he's a great test. Like I said, it's one of those fights that just gets me super excited. It's a guy that I know I have to bring my A game, not my B game, not my A- game. I got to come with the best Shane Burgos possible, and that's exactly what I plan on doing.
So kind of going back to the rankings after the Emmett fight, I think you dropped like 5 spots to like number 14, and I think it's wild that you jumped up 5 more spots without even having to fight again. You're up to number 9. These rankings, like they're so wild, man.
I don't make the rules, but I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll take it. I mean, I don't know, man. It's weird. It's really weird. But I guess it worked out in the long run for me. I mean, I haven't fought since my last fight, and my ranking's been moving constantly, but it's been going back to normal now. So I mean, I feel like at 9 is a good spot for me. I think that's a well-respected spot.
I would agree with that. How excited are you to get back to the fans? Because I mean, the Emmett fight, man, it was the empty arena and it was super fun. But we saw how rowdy the crowd was in Jacksonville, and I assume Houston will be bringing the ruckus as well. You must be just beside yourself. That not only do you get to fight Edson, you get to do it in front of 17,000 people.
Exactly, like the fight with me and Josh, that deserved the crowd, that deserved a big crowd, and the crowd got robbed of that. And but now to get this one, this is a fucking barn burner, man. This is one of those fights that this deserves a crowd, and it's getting a full crowd, 17,000 fans in the arena. I can't wait just to make that walk and to feel that energy, because I didn't realize how much I missed that. But even like the weigh-in show, just when you're flexing on the scale and everybody's screaming your name and screaming for you, and then you do the face-off and your blood's pumping, and you can just feel that electric energy in the air. I literally can't wait to feel that again.
And you get to fight on the same card as Nate Diaz against Leon Edwards and the vacant title fight. It's a pretty damn good card.
Super pumped to be on the same card as Michael Chandler. I'm a huge fan of that guy too.
What did you think of UFC 261? Because I mean, the card was bananas. One of the most memorable events in UFC history. What were your biggest takeaways from watching that card a couple weeks ago?
It was a phenomenal card from top to bottom. I watched every single fight on the card. Like I said, I'm a hardcore fan, so there's not one fight that I missed. It was crazy how every fucking fight was awesome. Every fight on the main card was a finish. It almost didn't even make sense. It was like this. It couldn't have went any better for the UFC for their first card back with the full arena. Not one fight fell out. I think everybody made weight. I think, right?
Pretty sure, yeah, and quickly too.
No one fell out. Everyone made weight. No COVID cases. Every single fight was amazing. It was everything I think the UFC wanted and more, because every single fight lived up to the hype. It was awesome.
What did you think of Usman's knockout? Because one of the questions, people kind of like to compare him to GSP and see how close he is. But I think the more pertinent conversation, at least right now, is, is he the best fighter on the planet, pound for pound? Like, I mean, John Jones hasn't fought in a while. Usman's active. He keeps winning. He keeps getting better and better. Do you feel like pound for pound, Usman's the guy right now?
Yeah, with Khabib out too, I think you have to say. And I'm a big fan of Jorge, so that was hard to see. And but I'm a big fan of Usman too. And to get a finish over Jorge Masvidal like that, that's a huge statement. It really is. Jorge over a full camp too. I think Jorge gave him his props too, because I don't think anyone saw that coming like that. It was a beautiful setup.
It's contractually obligated.
I like it.
Listen, obviously you're no stranger to being in great fights.
Yes.
But sometimes you come up a little bit short in those. I guess. I mean, what do you take out of those? I mean, I think people know every time you're on a card, they're going to get a good fight. But I'm sure you want to get the wins as well. So what's it like for you, kind of decompressing after fights like that?
I definitely need to decompress after fights like that, especially that last one, man. Yeah, that was a lot of old Bobby. But taking away from that, like just growing up, becoming more confident, becoming more emotionally mature, not fighting on my shield every single time, and not becoming provoked inside the cage, so to say. Yeah, just growing up in the sport, man. I came in here 5 years ago when I was 24 years old, and I'm growing up in the UFC. So
that's awesome. So would you say that from that fight until now, like your focus has really been on more the mental side of the game than
everything, man? It's like physically, mentally, obviously new weight class, way more consistent in my approach, dialed everything in, way more, carrying over things of like composure from training all the way over through every aspect of my life, my daily life. It's like what you do in one thing, you do in everything. So, yeah.
Your career has been so weird, all the wild up and down. Is there anything in particular that you would change, or do you feel like, hey, this is just what got me to where I am?
Yeah, I got asked this the other day. It's like the only thing I would change is like I wish I would have been more serious about it from the get-go. Maybe not serious is the right word, but more consistent from the get-go. Yeah. But other than that, now I've learned a lot of great lessons in the sport through my opponents and through my coaches and through my teammates and through my ups and downs. And I could say, yeah, I'd love to change things, but the reality of it is I'm really friggin' happy where I'm at right now.
What clicked that you were like, I gotta start being more consistent. I gotta start being more dedicated to this, or what have you?
Yeah, honestly, I think just I don't know. I think definitely going down to 45 helped. I mean, like, there's no turning back. Got to burn the ships. Like, it's all in or nothing now. But I think I've always been super consistent training. Like I enjoy what I do. Like I love the process. I'm very process oriented, not so much goal oriented. So I don't know if anything clicked. Just certain things became more consistent, and certain things from the last fight kind of reared their head and allowed me to look at it and be like, okay, that needs to be fixed. That needs to be fixed. That needs to be fixed. Let's go handle these issues.
Nice. The matchup with Mike, what did you think when that was the opponent that was given to you?
Yeah, I was excited, man. Mike's a tough guy. Yeah, he's a great wrestler, great submission artist, but fuck him. I'm going out there to fucking put on a show, man, and reintroduce myself to the UFC, introduce myself to this division. Like, let's go.
Yeah. That's why I was kind of most interested. Like, I think about you as like, you probably want to go out there and just put on absolute war. He probably wants to go out there and maybe hold you against the cage or hold you on the canvas. So is that frustrating to think like that's going to be the game plan?
Nah, cool, man. I mean, people try to do that to Whitaker. People try to do that to Izzy. It's like, good fucking luck. You're not going to hold me down. Like, who's taking me down in the UFC? I've gotten taken down a couple of times. Who's held me down in the UFC? Nobody. Who have I taken down in the UFC? Most of the guys I fought. Like, nobody, like, it's really hard to take down Bobby. I've taken him down, like, I got like 6 or 7 takedowns on him. Like, I could fucking wrestle. And my submission grappling, my ground game, top notch. Like, I'm ready. Let's go.
Nice. Last thing for me, I mean, I know you want to go out there and get a win. I'm sure it'll probably be a fight of the night worthy type fight because that's just the way you fight. But does this feel like a fresh start, like a new chapter? I mean, is it like a cliche to say that, or does it really feel that way?
Yeah, no, it feels like a fresh start, man. Like, new weight class. So what I got 10 fights in the UFC now, right? So it's my 11th fight, the second 10 in the UFC. So it's kind of like a landmark, right? It's like a turning point. But yeah, new weight class, man. Just new me. Like, new everything. Like, let's go. New decade. Like, I guess that was last year. I don't know, but fuck.
Lando over here. I know you got from the East Coast, but with the crowd,
you're from the East Coast too, ain't you? I can hear it in your voice.
No, man, I'm from Dallas, Texas.
No, okay.
with that being said, with this crowd gonna be here live, and a lot of these people are like boxing with the Mexican style, do you think you're gonna feed off that energy? Because it's gonna be in the building on Saturday night.
I mean, I always feed off the energy, man. The brighter the lights, the better it is, man. I fucking love it. Love it.
Well, so it would be safe to say that we're gonna see you just come out taking chances, looking for that performance of the night or knockout bonus to add to your wallet.
I mean, take chances, yeah, but calculated risks, It's like I won't be doing too many calculations in there, but I'm gonna fight a little smarter than you usually see from me. I mean, I've been an entertainer in the past, but I want to be a champion. I want to be the guy. I want to be the top dog, and top dog don't get down with just fucking slinging and banging. Like, let's go, but let's be smart.
You seem like a different guy from before COVID. Did this kind of awakeness kind of happen during COVID? You like work on the mental, technical side? Like, man, I do this good. Maybe shouldn't be need to ease up on that. Is that kind of like what you did? Kind of like a rebirth? Because you said new decade, new fighter.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, there's been an overhaul. An overhaul to everything.
So it would be safe to say Saturday night, it's all about making a statement.
Yes.
Lando, physically, how's the drop down to featherweight been this week?
It's great, man. Like, percentage wise, I'm closer to featherweight right now than I've been to lightweight for many of my fights. So I'm freaking golden.
And then obviously you're known for your flashy style of striking in there. Mike's obviously a wrestler. We asked him what he thought of your wrestling. He said maybe the drop down wouldn't benefit you against someone with his style of fighting. What do you make of that? And what do you make of his striking in there, actually?
I don't know how the drop down wouldn't benefit me in wrestling. I mean, I have a size advantage. It's like I fought bigger guys. That makes a big difference. So I don't know what he's talking about. But his striking, he's a good wrestler. He's got good shots. He's got a good top game. He's got, his striking's not that great.
A little bit of a weird story with your teammate Donald Cerrone, former teammate Diego Sanchez, kind of making its way around. It's kind of taking the MMA world by storm lately.
I plead the fifth.
Yeah. There you go. Is that Reptar shirt you're wearing?
Just dinosaur. go on with your Cowboy and Diego question. I want to hear what it was.
I just wanted you to, like, he said there was like a story of there was like a bar fight and the death punch didn't work against him and everything. I don't know if
Somebody that is a triple OG at the gym where I train, and I still see him on a pretty frequent basis, may or may not have been involved in a physical confrontation with Joshua, whatever his name is, and may or may not have put him in a triangle and submitted him at a bar. I can't neither confirm nor deny.
When was that?
Or when wasn't it?
Or when hypothetically could it have been?
I mean, if I had to put a timestamp on it, I would say maybe in the last year. I don't know, man. Sick. Anybody else got questions? Nah. All right, cool. Appreciate you guys. Thanks, guys.
All right, Shane Burgos.
I can't wait just to make that walk. No one fell out. Everyone made weight. No COVID cases. Every single fight was amazing. It was everything I think the UFC wanted and more, because every single fight lived up to the hype. It was awesome.
What did you think of Usman's knockout? Because one of the questions, people kind of like to compare him to GSP and see how close he is, but I think the more pertinent conversation, at least right now, is, you know, is he the best fighter on the planet, pound for pound? Like, I mean, John Jones hasn't fought in a while. Usman's active. He keeps winning. He keeps getting better and better. Do you feel like pound for pound, Usman's the guy right now?
Yeah, with Khabib out too, I think you have to say, and I'm a big fan of Jorge, so that was hard to see, and but I'm a big fan of Usman too, and to get a finish over Jorge Masvidal like that, that's a huge statement. It really is. Jorge over a full camp too. I think Jorge gave him this props too, because I don't think anyone saw that coming like that.
I wonder
it was a
if that was
beautiful
like a big win for you. I mean, I think, you know, you've been at the top of the division for so long, but there's all these like new contenders coming up, the new hot prospects, so to speak. Do you enjoy kind of putting them back down the list a little bit?
I mean, a little bit, of course. I enjoy a win, but I enjoy a payday as well. So, yeah, I mean, anyone coming up, and like I'll take a fight with anyone. Everyone knows that. I'm just trying to stay active, and anytime there's an opportunity, I'll take it. I've even told the matchmakers, I'm like, if you need someone, a replacement at 135, I'll do that. Obviously, flyweight's my main thing, but just so I can stay active.
Is it more difficult to get motivation against certain fighters than others? I mean, I think about how long you've been, like I said, at the top of the division. When there's people that haven't been there as long, is it difficult to get like kind of fired up for them?
Definitely not. Every fight, I'm super pumped and fired up. Sometimes if it's like a newcomer that they're hyping up, it's almost a little more motivating, because I'm like, all right, chill. Like, I've been here for a while. You know, you got to go through me. Yeah, no. I always told myself, if I got to the point in my career where I wasn't like super pumped or excited about a fight, or even just to go to the gym and train, then that's when you have to stop. I see like fighters do that all the time. They're like, take a fight and they're like, ugh, all right, I don't feel like going. I'm like, damn, I've never felt that. Like, I'm obsessed with going to the gym, whether I have a fight or not. You know, most fighters, when they aren't in camp, they just go to the gym a couple times. I'm there all the time. I love sparring. I love getting better. And, you know, as long as I feel that way, then I'm going to keep fighting.
So what's the focus been like for you in the last 6 months, as you know, from the win till now?
I just kind of been staying. I've been lucky recently. I've had a lot of good girl sparring partners, and we kind of had like a good group. So whenever like you have sparring partners, I'm always like, I'm going to spar as much as I can, because this might not happen, you know, all the time. So I've definitely been sparring a lot. I mean, I always do, but since my last fight, I'd probably spar like 4 days a week, even before I knew I had this fight. But I've been doing a little bit more like one-on-one training. You know, now my training schedule during the pandemic kind of changed. Just, you know, I've been doing a couple days more local on Long Island. I've been working with my good friend Ryan LaFleur, and actually I've been starting to work wrestling with my husband. He's a wrestling coach, but we never really worked together, just because I was already in the UFC, you know, when we started dating. I had my own training schedule done, but the pandemic, I was like, all right, we're running out of options. You need to come and train me. And it's actually been like a blessing, like working with both of them. I get a little bit more one-on-one attention, and I think that's really stepped up my game.
Nice. Matchup with Viviane. What do you think? I mean, she's had some impressive results in the UFC so far.
Yeah, she's definitely very good. I think she's only been in the UFC like for a shorter amount of time, but all of her opponents were definitely really, really good and high level opponents. I think that's what kind of sets her apart. She didn't really go from the bottom of the division. She kind of came in and always had really good opponents. So getting wins over those are definitely very strong. I think she's got a great athletic striking, but I think mine's just definitely better. She has great boxing, but I have better boxing, better kicks, better footwork, movement, and my jiu-jitsu is superior.
Being back in Houston, did it stir any emotions in you, like positive, negative, like just coming back to the airport, the city, and all that?
I don't really think about that stuff. This was the last time I fought in front of a crowd was here, so that's kind of cool coming back. But this time I'm definitely gonna get the win.
Nice. Last thing for me, I guess, kind of what drives you right now, because that's the bad thing about getting to a title shot and coming up short is like you're not going to get another one right away, right? So I mean, like, what's the driving force on a daily basis to keep you motivated and keep that passion for the fights?
Yeah, I'm super realistic in my position right now. I think I'm kind of like almost like, all right, someone if you beat Katlyn, then you can get a title shot type of thing. But as long as I don't care, as long as if I keep winning, then I'll get the title shot, which is obviously always the goal. But in the meantime, I understand my position and I just gotta rack up a couple wins and I'm ready for that. As long as it just kind of is a weird position being like number 2 and not really, it doesn't make sense right now for me to get the title shot because there are other contenders in the division. I always just fear that that's gonna keep me from being active because I can't fight anyone because I'm up number 2. I mean, if they want to give me anyone, I will, but there's only so many people I can fight. And I've fought almost every girl in the top 10 right now. So I just want to stay active. And that's the only way you get better and where you can earn your next shot.
Right here. Speaking of that, you're tied for the most wins and fights in UFC women's flyweight history. Do accolades like that mean much to you?
No, not really. I mean, they sound cool, I guess, but yeah, I don't know. That doesn't really matter to me. Just keep winning is all that I care about.
And then what did you make of Viviane's last 2 performances in there?
I think her last fight was against Roxanne, and I thought she looked really strong and dominant in that fight. I mean, Roxanne's been in there, for years, and everyone knows her. So that was definitely a step up in opponent for her, and I thought she looked really dominant and really strong there.
And she's only had 1 stoppage win in the UFC. She's had a lot of decisions, so there's obviously a lot of tape on her, specifically inside the octagon. Do you see any big glaring weaknesses that maybe her past opponents haven't taken advantage of?
When I get an opponent, I watch the tape first, and then I kind of don't really watch it too much because then you start looking at it. I want to focus on me and not my opponent. But yeah, just from looking at it, I mean, I don't see from her first fight to her last fight. It seems like she's the same fighter. Hasn't seen any improvement. Not that she's not good, but it's just kind of the same. And definitely her weakness is her cardio. I think she comes out really strong. And I think that's something that other fighters haven't really been able to realize that and expose it. But I think they can't because they had similar cardio. And for me, I'm fortunate enough where cardio is definitely one of my strong suits. And, that's a huge advantage in this fight particularly.
Hi, Katlyn. Sam DiCaprio, Armenian Weekly. Last month, President Biden became the first U.S. president to use the word genocide to describe the massacres of 1915 committed against Armenians. What did that mean to you when you heard the news?
It meant a lot. I mean, any type of publicity from the media to recognize what's going on in Armenia and what has gone on is really special to me. I think it's kind of crazy what's happened there in history, and a lot of people still don't know about that. So anytime it gets attention in the media is great.
You're 2-2 in your last 4. You won your last fight. Have you done anything really different since then in preparation, I guess, to ensure that you win this one, start a win streak?
Definitely been upping my wrestling. Like I said, I've been training a lot with my husband, and just kind of implementing different things in sparring. I've kind of like dropped the ego in sparring and just tried different things that I'm not good at in sparring and get myself tired, get myself to that breaking point, try things even if it doesn't work. I think I'm just kind of like at this point in my career where I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to try it here, because if I don't try it here, I'm not going to try it in the fight. So I'm super competitive, and a lot of times when I spar before, I would try to win each round, and it's like, well, I know I can win doing what I've been doing, but just opening up and being willing to try different things that I've been working on, I think that's helped me over the last 4 months become a much better fighter.
And then last thing for me, obviously there's a lot of hype going into this fight card, just in general, a lot of eyes on Saturday. What would you say to someone who has never watched a UFC event before in their life that might be tuning in Saturday, just about your fight style, just something to know about you going in that they might not realize beforehand?
My style, I'm definitely going to be going as hard as I can from the beginning to the end. I'm not going to be taking it easy. I think that this fight is kind of special because I think both of us, me and Viviane, it's a big fight for both of us. If she beats me, she's on everyone's radar. And for me, it's another, I have to beat her. That's every fight's like that for me. I just have to keep beating all these people that they keep hyping up and to try to get people to notice me again, So I think both of us have a lot on the line for this fight.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Katlyn. How big a deal is to get a title shot again before your career's over with? Do you have to get that before to feel kind of complete, to get that opportunity one more time?
Yeah, I mean, the goal for me in training was always to be a UFC champion. So that's still the goal. I'm not just fighting just for fun, it's cool, but I've been doing it for a long time and many years. So, I have having that greater goal of winning the title is always there. So it's definitely very important to get another shot.
Is Saturday about sending a statement to the division? Hey, I'm still here.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of all my fights, but yeah, I definitely, like I said, I'm realistic in my position, and I think at this point where I am, just a win isn't necessarily going to be enough. It has to be either an extremely dominant win or a finish.
And let's say you're aware of your position. How frustrating is it? You see Joanne and Lauren Murphy going to fight to probably get a shot at Valentina, and it's like, oh, I beat them. So how's that kind of feel knowing that you beat those ladies and they're in the spot that you try to get back to?
It's kind of funny to me. I mean, I'm trying not to be bitter and be like, I already beat them, but I did, and I beat them dominant. So, I know someone before had put something, Lauren Murphy's like, oh, she's never been, she's been finished twice in the last year, so why would I fight her? I'm like, well, that makes you look bad because you lost to me. And also I've been fighting, I got finished by number one and the champion. I wasn't getting debuters to fight. I've never fought anyone outside of the top 10 in my whole entire career. So yeah, I mean, I definitely beat them, but if I get it, they haven't had a shot at the title, so they want to put them in there, but I'm willing to keep fighting as much as I need to, and I'll keep beating them. I'll beat them again. I would love to fight either one of them again because that's guaranteed payday, so I love that.
After seeing what Valentina did to Jessica last month, what do you think? What's y'all mentality as a competitor? Since the perception is that the gap's up here and everybody's down here.
Yeah, I mean, that's just how it is. That's a reality of the division. You can see if maybe she'll do another a super fight with someone else in a different division, or someone else come up and down. But I mean, the good thing is Valentina fights all the time, so you see her game, and you just got to try to focus on your opponent you have now, but also work on skills that would help you win the title, because everyone knows you have to win these fights, but eventually you're going to fight Valentina. So trying to manage your current fight and also improving skills for that potential title fight.
And final question for me. So you get a dominant win on Saturday, get your hand raised. Are you going to come to Dana and be like, hey, I'm not a gatekeeper, I'm a challenger?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've been saying that the whole time, but yeah, definitely. I mean, that's kind of the statement I'm trying to make here on Saturday.
Hi, Ben from Sherdog. When Viviane was out here, she was asked to kind of give her impressions of your game, and she was generally very complimentary, talked about your reach as something she would need to deal with. But she said she felt as though sometimes your game plan was to win by decision. Do you is there any merit to that at all? Do you agree with it on any level?
I mean, no. I mean, I think every fighter tries to finish the fight as soon as they can. But when a fight's easy and it's working, sometimes you're kind of like, all right, why change it? Most fights, I don't particularly get hurt. So, and usually my opponents are, I tag them up, their face is all messed up, and I usually not really touched or anything. So, you know, it's not just the fight. It's also, I'm not going to go in there and go reckless and just be like, I'm in a war. I'm going to go like smash this person and risk getting like hurt. You know, I want to be able to fight in another 4 weeks or, you know, for the longevity of my life. I'm not going to just go crazy just to be like a fan favorite, because as much as I love the fans, they don't pay my bills.
Last one for me. This will, of course, be your first fight since the untimely death of DMX. Got anything planned?
I just always use DMX for my walkout song. So definitely, you know, they messaged me. They're like, are you keeping the same walkout song? I'm like, well, of course. Now I definitely have to. So yeah, that'll definitely be sticking with me.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you.